Oh, hello there! You caught me wrapping Christmas presents. Well, I know it's quite early to pack Christmas presents, but I'm just too excited that Christmas is just a month away. Besides, my favorite holiday is Christmas. I just love giving and receiving gifts. Well, everybody does. Come in now. Welcome to Grade 7 English class. I am Jennifer Tu, your English teacher. Now let's start to give and receive the gifts of learning. Today, we are going to learn about the Quarter 1, Module 3, the active and passive voice. Let's get ready to unwrap the boxes of learning with your module, paper, and pen. Here are the objectives for today. Utilize the passive and active voices in correct manner. Identify the active and passive voices in sentences. Construct sentences using active and passive voices. And use active and passive voices in varied manners. Let's see how much you know about this lesson by answering the statements with true or false. Let's begin!
How did you find your pretest? Is it hard or easy? Well, it's okay if you haven't gotten a high score because we still have a long way to go. Now let the learning begin.
Let's play Spot the Difference. Can you tell the difference between the two scenarios? Write it down.
Spot the difference. You only have 10 seconds to answer. Let's begin. Now let's see your answers. Check your own paper. The first difference between the two pictures is the order of the pictures. The first picture comes with the cat, followed by the word ate and the mouse, while the second picture starts with the mouse, followed by the words was eaten by and the cat. The second difference is the word in the first picture is just ate, while the second is was eaten by. Did you get them all? Great! Now let's transform these two pictures into sentences, and these are: the cat ate the mouse for the first picture, the mouse was eaten by the cat for the second picture. The first sentence, the focus is the cat, while on the second sentence, the focus is the mouse. Focus means the subject of the sentence.
Which picture do you think performs the action? Both pictures show that the cat is the performer of the action. Now, who do you think is the receiver of the action? The receiver of the action is the mouse. These pictures show about active voice and passive voice.
Now let's talk about the voice of a sentence. What is voice of a sentence? Voice means that the action is acted or acted upon. It talks about verb forms. Verb forms vary depending on the voice. Subject role differs as well, either as doer or receiver of the action. There are two voices of a sentence. These are active voice and passive voice. Active voice. Sentences in active voice has subject, which is the doer of the action. Here are examples. Example number 1, Giselle sings a song. The subject of this sentence is Giselle, who is a doer of the action, sings. Example number 2, the carabao chewed the grass. The subject of this sentence is the carabao. The carabao is the doer of the action, chewed. The last example is Danielle Padilla signs my shirt for an autograph. The subject of this sentence is Danielle Padilla. Danielle Padilla is the doer of the action, signs. Now let's talk about the passive voice. Sentences in the passive voice have subjects who are the receiver of the action. Take note of the word receiver. The verb is formed using the auxiliary verbs plus the past participles of the verb. Auxiliary verbs are is, are, was, were. Here are the examples of verb forms under passive voice. Is written or was written, are given, or were given. Now here are example sentences in the passive voice. Sentence number 1. The song was sang by Giselle. The subject in this sentence, song, is the receiver of the action, sang. Focus your attention on the verb form was sang. The second sentence is the grass is eaten by the carabao. The subject of the sentence is the grass. It is the receiver of the action eaten, acted by the carabao. The last sentence is the shirts were sold online by Leon. The subject of the sentence is the shirts, which is the receiver of the action sold, done or acted by Leon.
Oh wait! We can turn active to passive and passive to active voice. Here are the general rules in converting active to passive voice and passive to active voice.
Now let's transform active voice to passive voice. Rule number 1. Subject becomes the receiver, which is now part of the predicate in the passive voice. But remember, we can only transform sentences into passive voice if the sentence has subject, verb, and object. Example sentence is Annie does chores. Following this rule, Annie becomes the object or the predicate and the chores becomes the subject of the sentence. Now change the chores into the big letter C since it is now the start of the sentence. Now we are ready to the rule number 2. Rule number 2 states that we have to use the auxiliary verbs is, am, are, was, were, been, being plus the past participle according to the tense. Using the same example in Rule 1, chores does Annie, let us focus our attention to the subject and the verb. And to determine the correct verb form for a sentence, we should know if the subject is singular or plural and the verb is in the present, past, or future tense. In this example, the subject chores is plural and the verb does is in the present tense. Then we can use the plural auxiliary verb in the present tense, which is are. And we can now transform does into past participle, which is done. The verb now is changed to are done. This sentence now is chores are done, Annie. And we are not yet done because we still have the last rule. Rule number 3, put by before the direct object in the passive form. So we just have to insert by before the word Annie, which is the object of the sentence. Our sentence now is chores are done by Annie. It is in the passive voice. Now let's proceed to transforming passive voice to active voice. Rule number 1. Subject becomes the object and the object becomes the subject. Remember, sentences with subject, verb, and objects are the ones that we can transform into active voice. Example sentence is, the gift was given by Jose. The gift is the subject, the verb is was given, and the object is Jose. Following this rule, the object Jose becomes the subject and the subject, the gift, becomes the object. Now we are ready for rule number 2. Rule number 2. Change the verb to be in the appropriate simple form. So let's focus our attention to the verb was given. Look at the auxiliary verb was. Was is in the past form. Therefore, we transform this verb using the simple past form of the word given. Was given becomes gave. Our sentence now is Jose gave by the gift. And we are not yet finished. We still have rule number 3. For our last rule, remove the word by. In this sentence, Jose gave by the gift. Just remove the word by. And the sentence now is Jose gave the gift. And this is the sentence in the active voice. And we are done.
Now let's practice. On your activity notebook, write X if the statement is in active voice and Y if it is in passive voice. Let's begin.
Now here are the answers for the practice 1. Check your own paper.
Now let's go to practice number 2. Transform the sentence into passive voice. You only have 10 seconds to finish this. The sentence is, the family went to CSI City Mall last weekend. You may begin. Time's up. Now check your answer. The correct answer is CSI City Mall was gone by the family last weekend. Did you get that right? If yes, well done. If not, you can still go back to this lesson and review. Practice number 3. Transform the sentence into active voice. You have 10 seconds to finish this. The sentence is, Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are injected by the nurses to children. Time's up! Now check your answer to this. Nurses inject Pfizer and Moderna vaccines to children. Did you get that correctly? If it is yes, you are awesome. If not, just go back to this lesson and practice some more.
Here is the summary of the Unwrap lesson for today. Voice means that the action is acted or acted upon. Verb forms vary depending on the voice. Subject role differs as well. Either it is the doer or receiver of the action. Active voice, the subject is the doer of the action. And here are the general rules in converting active voice to passive voice. Meanwhile, in the passive voice, the subject is the receiver of the action. The verb is formed by adding the past participle of the verb to the appropriate form of verb to be. Here are the general rules in converting the passive voice to active voice. Congratulations! You are now on the last stage of this module. Now let's see how well you digested all the lessons discussed in this module. Be ready with your paper and pen. Now write true if the statement is correct and false if otherwise. Time's up! Now here are the answers. Did you get them all? If yes, well then good job! It's quite a long day. Now we come to the end of this lesson. I'll see you again next time.